You are watching Limited Resources Draft Series on MTGO Academy featuring Marshall Sutcliffe.
Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources. We're doing another draft here on MTGOacademy.com. It's still cons. Loving the format. Haven't gotten sick of it at all. It's really one of the greats, I think. We've got an interesting first pick here. I think it's pretty clearly Murderous Cut. Crackling Doom is very good, but I think Murderous Cut is probably on par with it, at least, and infinitely easier to cast. Armament Core is excellent card, but I don't think it's as good as Murderous Cut, and the fact that we get to stay in one color, it means a lot, right? It means that we have so many more options by staying in one color on our first pick. Some decent options here as well. We can go a whole different bunch of directions. We can just take Chief of the Scale, which is probably just the most obvious pick here. We can take a land. I don't really like Hero Lichlord. I don't think I want to take that. But we could go deep and take Secret Plans. We could take Obzon Guide, which is excellent. Woolly Loxodon if we wanted to stick to two colors, though. I think if we wanted to do that, we might just take the Guide or something like that anyway. I'm going to take the Chief here. I think it's probably the best card, and it keeps things simple. Wow. Well, I suppose I'll take the second one, too. I don't know where exactly we'll go after it. I mean, there's a Throttle, Savage Punch, Ponyback, a Mardu Rough Rider. Like, Mardu could be relatively open, but if we can just stay in in one of these sort of straddling color pairs, that works well for me as well. All right, well, immediately, though, we're forced to make a little bit of a decision here as... if we want to go with Mardu, we can just take Bring Low and kind of move on. If we want to go deep, we can take Sultai Soothsayer and move into a couple of extra colors, assuming that we're going to be picking up, somewhere in the 5-color range. And if we want to go Obzon, we can take a Dragon Scale Boon or maybe even just like an Archer to hedge a little bit. I guess I'll take the Bring Low. I'm not going to say that puts us into anything specifically. I'm just going to say that it's sort of the most in the middle pick of the group, and I'll take that. There's another Secret Plans. I'd love to do that, but I think that our seed is kind of pushing us a little bit more towards an aggressive build with maybe some Warriors or something along those lines. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go in that direction a little bit here. I'm going to take this Jeskai Student. And if it doesn't, open up, then that's okay. I'll go a different direction. But for now, I think that, there wasn't anything jumping out at me there. Ifrit Weapon Master is decent. Probably just going to take the Bonkin here, though. All right. This is working out. There's a Rush of Battle, which we could play. But there's also just an Aerostorm and a Horde Ambusher, which I like a lot. And I think I'm going to take the Aerostorm and just sort of commit to Mardu here. Mardu feels open anyway. It's a good clan to be in. We've got a couple of really good warriors. I think Chief of the Scale is excellent. It's often better than Chief of the Edge. I think this is going to come together okay for us here. All right, a Tracker or a Prowler? I'll take a Prowler, I guess. Tracker's probably a little bit better just because it's more flexible, but I don't know. They're close. I could be convinced either way. Maybe I'll just take the Tracker. I'll take the Tracker just in case red ends up becoming, sort of our third color. It's less of a commitment. Aerostorm's worth it, even if it isn't your third color, but double red on a sort of mediocre creature probably isn't. All right, so not much here. Alpine Grizzly or maybe a Tormenting Voice, which I don't really like in decks like this. I'll take this Grizzly. I don't think that's going anywhere, but I think it's the best card, so I'll just take it. You never know. Maybe we don't play red after all or something, and if green ends up being super open, we'll be happy we had that Grizzly because it'll actually make the cut. That's interesting. The Jungle Hollow came back. So did an Act of Treason, which could be a thing in our deck. I'm going to actually just take the Jungle Hollow there. I'm going to hedge a little bit here. I feel like we can pick up an Act of Treason if we really want one. It's not a particularly sought-after card, and you really, usually you only want one of them anyway. But a Jungle Hollow, that could open up a different door for us in case, like I said, in case the red dries up or something along those lines. And along those same lines, I'll take an Awaken the Bear here. Like Alpine Grizzly or Bringlow Aerostorm Anok Tracker is, yeah, you know, it's the red, but it's not abundantly clear to me which one, you know, throwing at one extra card in either direction, it becomes a lot more clear. So I should say Jungle Hollow, Alpine Grizzly, Awaken the Bear versus just those ones. So it's interesting anyway. All right, this next pack should be quite telling about the direction that we actually want to go with this deck. I like the beginning. I like Murderous Cut into Double Chief of the scale. The rest has been a little eh. How many Retribution of the Ancients can we actually play? All right, well, I thought maybe we had a decision point because of Armament Core, but I think I can just take this Debilitating Injury over here and feel pretty good about it. I mean, it looks like we're going to be in black. We've got Chief, Murderous Cut, and now an Injury. And I love Debilitating Injury. A lot of people had it early on as the best common, including myself. And I think people have come down on it a little bit just because it's a little boring. It's not super exciting, but God, it's a good card. Like, I think it's still one of the best, if not the best commons in the set. I just found it super solid all the way through the set, and I'm happy to have as many of those as I can get. So I'll just pick it up here and stay on the black, probably black-white base, I would say. Yeah, that is true. Thank you. All right, what do we got? Okay. Some interesting things. There's a Watcher of the Roost, which I like quite a bit. Pine Walker's probably the best card here. And then there's also an Opulent Palace, though that doesn't seem to really fit what we're up to. So I think it is between these two uncommons, Watcher of the Roost and Pine Walker. And I think we can delay our decision on green a little further because I think Watcher of the Roost is really good. And I'm just going to take it here. Yeah, so I think that's fine. And continuing with the warrior theme here, here's a Take Up Arms, which I like. I'll take that. Mistfire Weaver I think is the best card in this pack, but we're nowhere near blue, so I'm not going to move over there for that. All right, so no good red cards, but a really good green card. I'm going to take the Heir of the Wild. It's a warrior. I mean, I could be a total wuss and take Sage Eye Harrier, but I'm not. I'm going to take that, and I think we might end up moving over into Obzon with Warriors here. That might be better. But I'm not convinced yet, so let's keep looking. Throttle could just take the the Meandering Tower Shell, which is a fantastic blocker, though I think that we can be a lot more aggressive than that and feel pretty good about it. Student's decent, but I'm going to take the Throttle here. So this is what the deck, I believe, looks like right now. Though, yeah, you know, sometimes things shift back and forth, and we'll keep an eye on it. All right. Not much here, unfortunately. The Swiftwater Cliffs doesn't splash us really into anything reasonable, as blue isn't something that we're in, even though Wind Scout's the best card here. So it leaves us with a Tracker or a Kintree Warden or a Shambling Attendant, and none of these are really what we want to be doing. So I guess I'll just take the Shambling Attendants here because it's in a color that we know we're playing, and because it's a decent card. You know, it's fine. All right, here's some decent stuff for our deck. Karu Bloodsucker, an Unyielding Krumar, which would make the cut for sure. It's a warrior and such, but we need Scoured Barrens. We gotta use a pickup on stuff like that sometimes. Yeah, there's that Trumpet Blast, which wouldn't be too bad, but we're probably just on this plan. Big Grizzly. Card's scary. All right, here's an Unyielding Krumar. And not much here for us. Okay, what is this last pack going to bring us? Teamer Charger, Feet of Resistance. These are some good ones. I think it's between those two cards. Teamer Charger, Feet of Resistance. I'm just going to take the Feet. I like them both a lot. But yeah, I think Feet is a little harder to replace than a 2-drop or a morph or whatever. So yeah, I'll take the Feet and we'll see how it goes. Oh, hello. Another Feet, but yeah, Herald of Anafenza. Absolutely. Talk about your warrior sub theme. Jeez. That just got a bit better, didn't it? Could definitely use a rush of battle. There's another take up arms, or we could just take the Sultai Flare, and I think the Flare is probably the pick here. Yeah, I like that card a lot, and I think it's going to fit into our strategy pretty nicely too. Mardu Rough Rider. I would like to play you, but don't think that I can. There's no warriors here. Oh, wait, is this guy? Yeah, I guess he is. He doesn't really need it, though. But I do think I'm going to take this Woolly Loxodon. I want to get a few more morphs in here, and I think that card's excellent. All right, there's a Savage Punch. I've been waiting on one of those. Got a pair of Alpine Grizzlies plus a bunch of other stuff. Wow, here we go. Tuskguard Captain, too? Absolutely. Here's a weird one. A Longshot Squad or a Sage Eye Harrier. I think the Harrier might actually be better in this deck. Like, getting up and blocking flyers is a pretty big game. And we're not really great at that. We've got some removal spells that we can use on them, but I think it's a little better than a Longshot Squad. I might be wrong. Maybe we just take the Squad here. Actually, yeah, let's just take the Squad. I think the Squad's generally a better card, but also I think it's better in our deck because we can make it a 4/4 and turn on like our Savage Punch or whatever. That makes a big difference. Speaking of that, another Grizzly. And now we're kind of down to the nothings. All this rare draft, I suppose. Dragon Scale Boon, sure. Oh, that's a pretty nice pickup. A very late Smite the Monstrous. That's good. You kind of want to have one of those in your pile. I don't think we're going to start it, but if you end up facing against a teamer deck or something, that is the kind of card you want to have. So I am happy to pick that up. It looks like black ended up being our splash. We moved into green pretty hard. Red did not seem open to me in those early stages, and it certainly didn't in the later stages either. So I think that was a good move. And green seemed open enough. I'm pretty happy with these green cards. So we're green, white, splashing black, right? Yeah, basically. That means I can kill the secret. Probably the attendants as well. They're just very, very clunky. Yeah, this is starting to look like a real deck. Oh, man. Pony back, but can't cast it. All right. I think we're pretty close to a real magical deck here. Murderous Cut, Throttle, Injury, Savage Punch. Ugh, I wish we had one more removal spell, but that'll probably do it. Could bring in the Smite if I want. Got a couple of mana fixtures, but nothing great there. Do want to make one cut from this. Kind of like where we're at with it. I think it's actually decent. Mana's a little awkward. There's no doubt about that. Because we'd love to hit turn 2 Chief of the Scale. It's excellent when you play it on turn 2. Man, look at that. That guy can get bigger toughness. That is insane. Could definitely cut a Jeskai Student. We're not really abusing that card. It's basically there just for curve purposes. Yeah, we'll cut that guy. All right. Barons, Hollow. Don't want the banner, though. I do wish we had another source of mana, and then let's get these back together and then sort by color. I like to do this to get a landscape on what the colors in my deck are from a big picture perspective. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No gold cards outside of these two. Wow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 12, 8, 6 in this order. So clearly we need tons of forests. We need to be able to hit our turn 3 grizzlies and that kind of stuff. And then white's a little bit more of a splash, but we have to give it homage because of the fact that it's our 1-drop and our 2-drop. Our best ones are all white. So we're going to have to be pretty evened up here. Let's see what Magic Online suggests. I like starting with that, and then usually you have to make adjustments from there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black sources right now, which is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white sources, which is probably pushing it as far as not being enough. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 green, which we actually want. So our mana just kind of stinks. 6, 6, 8. Oops, sorry about that. It's actually not that bad, but I'm not super happy with it. I can't lie. But I don't think I want to go down to 7 in green because we really need green. So away we go.
If you'd like to exchange your Magic Online cards for event tickets while logged in on Magic Online, you can do so by trading MTGO Academy's official bot, Academy Buy Bot. You can find it in the Magic Online trading area or add it to your buddy list.
All right, here we are for the first round. Definitely going to be on the play with this deck. And I think we can keep this one. Little bit worried about the 2-laner, but we've got 2 of our 3 colors, and we've got a morph, plus a debilitating injury that we can actually cast. So even if we don't draw green mana in the next, 3 turns or whatever, we can still play some spells and make sure that we keep ourselves not dead. And if we do happen to draw green mana, then things go very well for us because a turn 3 Tuskguard Captain is a big game. All right, no play from our opponent. Unfortunately, no play from us either. So if they play a morph, we can get our injury on, but in the meantime, it looks like we might be up against some type of 4 or 5 color deck. All right, well, we just drew the nuts there. Let's just go with Alpine Grizzly here. I think I just want to get my biggest attacker on the battlefield here. We're going to be attacking with this probably for the rest of the game as long as it's still alive. We're going to be awakening bears and doing that kind of thing. So yeah, having awakened the bears here is actually pretty nice because I would love to just run them over here. And there's no good flips. I mean, even an 06 gets killed by this Awaken the Bear, so that's pretty good too. The only bad thing would be like a Ruthless Ripper, but we haven't seen any black yet, so screw it. And it's a Kintree Warden, so good. That's actually great for us. Get that thing off the battlefield. Our opponent probably thinks, well, that's my worst morph, so we'll get that thing out of the way. And I don't blame them. It's not a bad trade for them, but this is actually quite annoying versus us. Like, it just holds back an Alpine Grizzly indefinitely. And we still have the debilitating injury and the feat of resistance, so we might be able to just ride this little bear to quite a bit of damage here. Opponent's going to have to come up with something pretty good. It is another face-down morph creature. Land. This is a little bit awkward. But I think it's still a good turn here to snap off this morph before they get to 5 mana. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we get to bash in there for 4 and leave up Feat of Resistance just in case they untap and want to, use some bring down or, or burn spell or something on it. I hate not being able to develop my board. We're a little bit more all in on this Grizzly than I'd like, but we're quite a bit ahead on tempo, and I think we're going to be able to just keep attacking, so I like that. Hey, look, it's another morph. And no land. Interesting. That's a pretty good draw. That means we can attack with the morph, or with the Grizzly, and see what our opponent wants to do. Content to block as our opponent. Well, I am content to just keep running combat tricks over your guys. Give him pro black just in case he was to flip up the guy. You never know with these decks, where they're going to end up being. But this is a beautiful part about this turn, is that we get to actually keep developing our board thanks to that 2-drop. Pretty good. Now we're finally out of gas as far as that goes, but now we can just keep casting stuff over and over. If our opponent comes up with a really big blocker, yeah, it's a little too late for that. Playing a morph here is completely miserable for our opponent. We get to just have free reign here. And this is the idea. You want to punish decks for playing cards like that. I know what it's like to be on the wrong end of that, and that's exactly what I try to do. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and attack with both here. I think we'll put our opponent to the test here on this. They'll block, but that's okay. I don't want to give... Oh, not going to block. Interesting. Going down to 5, huh? I don't really have a great way to use my mana this turn. I can't hard cast Krumar Bonkin. If I was to use my mana up perfectly, it would be for a take up arms on end step. But is that better than a Sultai Flayer right now? Probably is, actually. So I'll go for that. Kind of depends on what our opponent does, but it could definitely be better. Very likely to just pass the turn here. So that they can flip up their morph. So let's take up some arms. This is a pretty nice spot because if our opponent has a counter spell, they can't really counter this. They don't have enough for Spell Snatcher. They can't really spend mana here and then not flip this up. Not after the way that the turn went last time. If this is not a Ponyback Brigade or whatever, and their plan was just to flip up all of these and we just get to go. What is this? Oh, you're going to Murderous Cut here. Okay. I can live with that. Yeah, that means that this will not be flipped up, at least not in a normal way. So yeah, let's jam the squad here. I'll give up one soldier or one warrior to get in for almost lethal damage here, no problem. And I think this turn looks pretty good. We get to play a Sultai Flayer and a Herald, which is going to be a which is going to make 1/2s like these. Ooh. Obzon Guide. That certainly changes things. All right. You got my attention. Now I need to find my throttle or something like that. So let's go with Heir of the Wilds and El Capitan here. Maybe I should have actually just played this. I don't know. I'm thinking a little bit longer term now, but like I'm thinking draw a land next turn, play this, make a guy, and try to go wide here. But like, what if I just attacked with everything? He eats this, he blocks this, he gains 4, goes to 7, And he takes 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's not worth it. We're going to have to wait. All right, well, we have hit a nice little impasse here where our opponent could definitely outpace us eventually. But our positioning is not too bad here. If this is another Obzon guide, then we could be in more trouble, but... Wow. That is so many morphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 morphs we've seen so far. That is insane. Yeah, we really just need like a throttle. Throttle would be perfect. But as it sits, I think this turn's still pretty decent. The question is, do we want to make an extra guy or get Tuskguard Captain 1 bigger? We're going to play this Bondkin face down. So we can flip it up next turn and battle with it. But now that our opponent has this crazy board, things are going to get pretty yucky for us. What if we attacked with everything now? It just gets terrible. Yeah, I can just see that. Heir of the Wilds is an interesting attack, though. I do think I attack with Heir here. The fact that it's a 2/3 and doesn't trade for anything is pretty big game. If he throws the Obzon guide in front, could really be asking for some trouble for the next turn if he doesn't have another one. All right, you got it. And he might have another one. It'd be pretty annoying. All right, I think we go wide here. Because by making a token here, this gives us another creature, but also it makes the Herald of Anafenza something that can actually attack. Ooh, Dragon Scale Boon. Okay. Will that do it? Well, is Dragon Scale Boon enough? Attack with everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So realistically can turn one creature face up. My gut says it makes sense to wait one turn to do this, but I might be wrong. 3 creatures blocks here, here, here. Here, here, here. And then we get in for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus this as a backup. Now, if he does flip up an Obzon guide, though, I guess we can use Dragon Scale Boon to kind of eat it with basically anything. So yeah, let's go for it. Let's try to tempo him out, because I think if we don't, let's see. What this is getting, so 1, 2, 3 things are getting blocked. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus we've got a 5/5. Yeah, let's just jam. If our opponent can't gain life or kill something, then this is a lethal attack. And we're not really losing much here either. Basically, all of our creatures survive an unflipped morph. 2, 4, 5. This is lethal, so we don't have to do anything from this point. So I just say, okay, this is lethal. So there's no point in me flipping up morphs or showing my Dragon Scale Boon. He's got to show us a guide here. All right, so what he's doing is flipping up his cheapest morph here to try to find a removal spell or a bounce spell or something. And it's not going to work, so we win. Oh, what did we show? There was a Kero Spell Snatcher. Interesting. And a Pine Walker. We showed the Bondkin, and then we saw the other one as the Unblockable. So, wow, crazy deck. Definitely hoping to be able to outrace it here. The plan that we employed there ends up being the plan that we want to keep doing. I think we want the Smite. We saw 2 or 3 targets for it that would be really good. The Pine Walker especially, and the Guide. Those are excellent. The combat tricks were really, really good against him. I think the take-up arms can probably go. I think it's fine. It did work there, but I think anything like I think Smite would have been better, for example. So, all right, I might bring in those shambling attendants, depending on what we see this game, just because it can attack through anything. Obviously, mulliganing the one lander and this one lander as well. All right, well, I guess sometimes this is what happens. And we've got a removal spell and 2 combat tricks. So what do we need here? Just any creature. Really, any creature in our deck I think would be just fine here. All right, got the secret plans. We got all the removal in the world and tricks, but we need something. We need a champion. Who will be our champion? No creatures. We have a lot of our best cards here, but no creatures is pretty tough. There's a creature. And then is our opponent going to hit their 5th land on time here? Oh, they are, and it's a doozy. So we can't even block. I guess our best case is that they sink a bunch of mana into one of these creatures that we could actually kill. Yeah, I guess I didn't think that was really going to happen. I think one of these is a Pine Walker. And I think he wants us to attack into it, and then he's going to untap it and then block. And that's a pretty foolproof plan for him because he's going to draw a card off it anyway. So, like, even if we use a combat trick to kill Pine Walker, he got his card back anyway, so he's even on it. I think I'm just going to develop my board here. I'm not going to attack. It's just too suspicious. And no flip at all? Well, how does that make any sense? Okay, now one of them's going to attack. Well, I'm not blocking. Yeah, we're going to have to play this. We're going to have to hit a land here. If we hit a land, then we can actually cast a bunch of our spells and start making some things happen. Oh, Herald's pretty good too. So he wanted to keep this one back. So this one can flip up and become something scary is what I'm kind of getting here. So I think we punch this one and then just play Herald. Punch Herald. We can't Tuskguard Captain and Herald, unfortunately. What else could I do? I could also just attack with Unyielding Krumar and leave back Dragon Scale Boon. That makes it a 5/5 with Trample, which is pretty decent. Could have Force Away to kind of screw up our plan here, but I don't think we have much room for really anything here, to be honest. Could definitely attack and get in damage with the Unyielding Krumar pretty much for free. I can't really imagine him blocking. I can give it first strike and just say, sure. This is a tough spot. I want to make sure I use my green mana effectively. Getting Dragon Scale Boon might be the best way to do that. It's really risky, though. Like, if we attack with Unyielding Krumar and he just says, sure, no blocks, and we fire off Dragon Scale Boon and he bounces our guy, like, I don't really imagine us winning this game. We did mulligan to 5, though. We're going to have to take some amount of risk. I want to get a card in my graveyard for Murderous Cut as well, though. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Dragon Scale Boon play here. It just sucks because I can't block. Like, can't do it. All right, so let's attack. Oh, he's going to double block. Well, maybe I just let this happen. Whatever. Let's gamble. Okay. I can live with that. I'm bummed out that I put that one in front, but this is a result I can definitely live with. Because now we've got a 5/5 that will have first strike, and I can actually block. Like I can just block these things and feel pretty good about it. Obviously, mana constraints are kind of our main thing, so getting a card in the yard for a Murderous Cut's a pretty big game too. Sure, don't care about that. He's left himself with 4 mana here. Okay, this is getting interesting. Probably want to Savage Punch something here. I think I want to punch with Tuskguard Captain. Boo. Okay. Do I attack with this one? Probably not. It's just going to get blocked anyway, and I won't be able to block that other morph. So let's just get in there for 5 and play a Herald. Yeah, just missing his mana has just been so rough. Not blocking. Tower Shell, sure. Can just Murderous Cut that if we need to. But I have a feeling... So I've got Trample. So this thing isn't that big of an issue. This is actually probably our biggest issue because it draws him a card. So I think I want to kill that. If I'm going to kill that, I think Throttle's the right tool for the job. Could also play Murderous Cut on it, but I think I need to save that for the Tower Shell. So let's throttle this morph. Well, he can't flip it up unless it's something cheap. And it wasn't. It was Pinewalker, so that worked out really well. And ship the turn back here. Again, mana constraints are rough. Right now, our opponent has 3 more mana than we do and 2 more cards in hand than we do as well. What was that? What was that end step stuff? Oh, ping me with my parapet? Yeah, okay. Hey, look, a morph. This one can actually flip up, though. There's a Watcher of the Roost, which isn't a bad draw here, though I wouldn't call it a great draw either. But we can't actually... we can't reveal and flip to gain some life, which I think we might want to do at some point here. But for now, I think we probably just Murderous Cut the Tower Shell here. And ship in there with the old Unyielding Krumar here. Because we can give him first strike, so he gets through most things. Sure. He can regenerate both of them, so have at you. And I think I'm just going to hard cast the Watcher here. Because I can't do both of these abilities this turn anyway, so let's just get another attacker on the battlefield here. I don't like the Alpine Grizzly as much just because it's just going to get eaten up by these Kin Tree Wardens on the ground, so I think something in the air is a little more powerful. And when we finally run out of gas, I can start throwing counters on this and this like it's going out of style. What was that? Oh, Murderous Cut. All right, well, now we're kind of back to square one. But let's just keep attacking here. Attacking on the ground doesn't do much, so we're going to go wide. This is good, though. Like, going wide against these little Kin Tree Wardens and Archer's Parapets is quite strong, I think. And sure, we'll throw the old bear down here, too, just because it goes wider. And I get hit by the parapet. All right, so we got a good old-fashioned race in our hands here. But we're going to need to find something along the lines of removal or whatever. Oh, that's bad. Well, actually, that's not that bad at all. No, this guy really helps with that. Yeah, that's not bad. We could just keep pinging away in the air. And we win the race, I think, currently. Oh, that's a pretty good draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess he makes it block. None of it matters, though. Yeah, that's pretty good. He needs something else, but he's got a morph. That's awkward. All right. So this guy fights. Unyielding Krumar is going to do some work for us here, though. More work than I've ever seen it do, I think. Woolly's going to hit, and then basically, if he can mess with our Unyielding Krumar at all, then we're in huge trouble. Or actually, we're not even in that big of trouble. He's just going to eat some of our guys. But he gets to eat some of our best guys. But if not, then our Unyielding Krumar just jumps in front of the Tusker, gets first strike, kills it, and no matter what else, must block it, right? Yeah. So he basically can't attack with it as long as we have this thing up. Unless he's got some other shenanigans afoot. Well, he's battling with the Morph. And he wants to get the Herald, but that, of course, won't work. Oh, I see. He just gets to order him that way? Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense. So let's do that way. Right, so he still kind of gets what he wants. I didn't think that through all the way. Not that it mattered, but he still gets to kill our Herald and trade. But he's got to move. He's got to reorder these blockers. And this is a gamble we're taking over here that he doesn't have something bigger than a 5/5. Or does this even work the way he wants? I've never actually been in this spot. He wants to do damage to this first, but this is still going to get to do damage first, right? Okay. So this actually does work the way I want it to, doesn't it? Yeah, it sure does. And then these things get to trade for this thing. All right. That's business. Oh, God. Unending morphs. Unbelievable. His whole entire deck are morphs. Ooh. Protection from green hits for 6, 7, 8 probably. Meaning I can't kill him this turn. Because he can block with this morph. Wow, that feat of resistance could have been a really good draw here. But in the meantime, let's make a guy and attack. And see what he comes up with here. He's going to ping us. Oh, it's a Mystic. Okay, well, I'm going to assume that the Mystic's going to attack. And that might open the door for us to actually get in there and win. Six. Oh, but he drew that stupid land. But are we wide enough to just go around anyway? He's only got 3 creatures. This one goes unblocked. Yeah, we are actually. So if he has nothing, we can just win right here. And I definitely feel like we go for it here. Because now we're on a really quick clock. So this isn't going to get flipped up. Is playing this chief do anything? Can't really see any downside. So this gets in, and then 1, 2, 3. Right, it actually isn't quite enough, is it? Oh, yucky. What was I thinking? Anyway. Oh, that one. Was it just that one life? Yeah, it was. I guess I did the math wrong. I thought one creature was going to get through. But that just wasn't the case. Yep, you got it. All right. Well, that sucks. What would have happened if I would have kept my creatures back? He still hits me with this. We just die anyway. So I guess it didn't matter, but bummer. That was a close one. But yeah, I think that we're in a decent spot here. Remember, that was a game that we mulliganed down to 5 and had a pretty clunky draw against one of his better draws. So I think if we go, even on cards, I think that we can win that game pretty easily. And hopefully we'll win the next one that way. All right, this looks good. Nice little hand here. Pick up another creature and a combat trick and we'll be in business. There's half of that. Yep. Okay, more combat tricks. It's fine. Wish I had a creature to play that turn, but I'll have to just settle here. Assuming my opponent's going to play a morph this turn, because that's what my opponent does. Probably best to Keep battling here. All right, sweet. Finally didn't block. Yeah, I like our spot pretty well now. Sure. No way you can attack. It's just actually a great thing for us. I mean, you're going to attack, but I mean, no way you can profitably attack us here. That little turn right there was probably about the best thing that could happen to us. I'm considering main phase dragon scale booning here because I don't think we're doing anything else. And the coast is clear. If I do that, I get in for 3 extra damage. I get 2 from this and then an extra one because I'll get a trigger from Heir of the Wilds as well. I will not get my creature on tap, but that looks irrelevant here. And I want to use up my mana, so I'm actually going to go for it here. I think I'm going to do it on the air. So let's get in there for 8. Obviously a huge hit of damage and really, really puts the pressure on my opponent. Since they have the long game effectively locked up with, what was that? Oh, Smite, with the combination of secret plans plus a bunch of morphs, we have to just, keep the big pressure going. And it looks like we get to do that. So let's go Awaken the Bear here, get in there for 6 and make effectively a lethal creature. And then the question is, do I Debilitating Injury right now? 1, 2, 1, 2. No, I don't. I can do both next turn anyway. So if I want, I can Murderous Cut something here. He's going to need to play 2 creatures to be safe. Or kill this one. Ooh, goes down to 2. Probably has something sweet here, though. Here's Murderous Cut of his own. Okay. Well, we got a real fight here, then. I'm going to go ahead and let him hit me for 3 here, though. Because I'm going to use Debilitating Injury on that thing because it just kills it outright, and I know that. And I'm going to Murderous Cut whatever this is. And really hope to draw a creature. Sweet. Perfect creature. That was a great draw. Ugh. Wow. I'll take it. I wouldn't call it the perfect draw like this one was, but I'll certainly take it. Yeah, now we're kind of screwed. Something good. That is pretty good, actually. I'm going to go ahead and gamble it up here and attack. I think, let's see, what if he flips up like a Glacial Stalker? No, I don't think there's actually a big point to me attacking there. Let's get this guy out and save up a couple of turns. We don't really need much. Activate the Herald for a couple of turns in a row, and I think the game will end. Am I? Okay. Parapet will buy him at least 1 turn here. In the meantime, it looks like our plan hasn't changed. A little sad here. I want to be able to kill him as soon as possible, but I don't know why he hasn't flipped this morph up. You'd think you'd want the card so that you could just recast another thing right away. So I can go for the win right here. Doesn't seem too unreasonable. What's the worst thing that happens? He blocks Herald here and eats it. He blocks this here, kills this, I guess. He needs to do a whole lot. He's only got one card in hand. At the same time, I can just be patient and keep hammering out. Oh, I can't go for the win. He just played a Tranquil Grove. Oops, I'm glad I saw that. I guess we'll just go long game. Probably wait one more turn after that, too, just to get the Herald of the size that can attack through a parapet. Oh, these lands are sick. Uh-oh. What is this nonsense? Oh, Mandrills. All right. Well, looks like we got a real game here. Oh, maybe we don't. The savagest of punches, huh? Savage punch does equal lethal. So I guess I punch Grizzly Herald on Hooting Mandrills. This is the scariness. This is the thing I need to get rid of. So I guess I go Herald on this. And hope that that works. Because if it does, then I get to attack with everything. Free Weapon Master. Pretty safe attack here. I can't really lose anything of consequence. My Herald doesn't even trade with Hooting Mandrills here because it's at 6 toughness. So, worst case is a trade here. All right, we got there.
Do you love to play Magic Online but have a tight budget? Check out MTGO Academy's Academy Budget Bot in the Magic Online Classifieds. All cards in stock are cheaper than one event ticket.
All right, second round. Still playing first. Man, yeah, we'll keep it. Make sure that we play our white and black mana sources early just in case we hit one of our 2 chiefs. You don't want to get caught with a forest out here and draw your chief on this turn. So that's why we do that. Just keep moving things forward. If we draw a white spell, we might want to just play the Watcher over the Captain, but probably not. And let's get Captain down. And this curve looks pretty sweet. We get to go... next turn, we can play Watcher of the Roost and power up the Captain. I like to get that first counter on there. Karu Bloodsucker. All right. And then let's get Watcher down. I'm just going to cast it. Yep, that guy's in there. And then I'll probably end up debilitating, injuring this guy just because he's such a hassle. Ooh, that's a good one. Can attack with both pretty freely. There's no way he's going to block. How does this turn look? I should probably just go like this. Get that guy out of here and just take a hit from the Bellowing Saddle Brute. Because now our Tuskguard Captain can block it or just outclass it in a minute anyway. And I hope that we can win the race. If he attacks us, we attack back. It looks like we have the tools to win the race. Bellowing Saddle Brute's a tough one, though. Card's pretty insane. Swarm of Blood Flies. It could get interesting. Now we've got a pretty even race. We're behind in it a little bit, but the throttle should help out with that. Interesting. I could just say go here. Would be interesting just to be like, go ahead. At least see great attacks from our opponent. Or I can attack with both. I don't think he's going to trade his swarm off. So he takes 6, goes to 12. He attacks us for 6, and we go down to, let's see, what, 15. So go to 9, and then we use the throttle at an opportune time. I don't know. It feels a little sketchy to me. I can also load up the Tuskguard Captain and make it completely outclass the Bellowing Saddlebrute, but not until next turn. One interesting play I could do is I could put a counter on the Captain, ship the turn back, and then kind of invite him to attack here. And if he does, I can throttle the Bellowing Saddlebrute and then block with the Watcher. Kind of like that play. It's a nice backup plan too. Now, if he kills the Watcher of the Roost, just like right now, if he's just like kill that thing, then it gets a little bit awkward. But if he attacks with both, I think I block this swarm. Okay, let's see if this works. Made sure to block first just in case he kills our Watcher of the Roost. It ends up being a 1-for-1, but we take less damage that way. You know, like if he kills it here. My assumption was that he would have done that already so that he could get in for a total of 7. Yeah, it looks like our assumption was right. Haha. Well, that's about the best possibility we could hope for there. So yeah, let's fight with the Tuskguard Captain, since it is now absolutely massive, and we'll just ship the turn back. Our opponent has 5 cards in hand, though, and should be able to put a real thumping on us. If he kills our Tuskguard Captain, I think we're just out of this game entirely. Krumar. Ooh, that's a bold attack. Well, okay. That means we get to attack with both of these, which is 2-turn clock. What am I missing here? Nothing, apparently. Yeah, I'm not sure what that attack was about. If he leaves this thing back, then I can't really attack at all, because I'm not going to trade off this for this, so I'd have to put a counter on this, not attack with this. I had a Crackling Doom. Well, that's a pretty good plan. Kill us in a couple of turns. We have some ways we can win the game, but that is going to put a huge crimp in our plans for sure. And we're obviously just taking this. He's got something, but we know we need to draw something. But we're not dead to this attack, and all right, I guess we are. Okay, I feel like we probably want this smite. I like the take up arms plan against him. The Alpine Grizzly should be fine. All this stuff should be good. Feat of Resistance should be good. These should be excellent. What's bad against him? Dragon Scale Boon? Waken the Bear, maybe? I mean, that... What's it called? Crackling Doom is going to kind of get us no matter what. Oh, this looks good. Yeah, we can play our 2 things. We can flip up the Watcher, showing take-up arms. We can just play an Alpine Grizzly on turn 3 and thump him with it, hopefully. His draw last time was quite strong, though. Kind of hit us from all angles there. Leaping Master? Sure. I'll play the Grizzly. That'll probably deter him from wanting to attack. Oh, that's interesting. I think I'm going to discard these two. All right, let's get Watcher down. I'm not going to trade Grizzly for a Leaping Master. All right, looks like he's going to start missing some lands here. Can certainly live with that. So let's go ahead. And I don't love showing him that I have the feat, but I can't cast the dang thing anyway, so whatever. Better to start getting in for damage here. For guaranteed damage, that is. Yeah, this looks pretty good for us. If he misses a land drop or two more, I think we're going to get him. If he peels a plains here or something, though, I think we could be in trouble. Murderous Cut. It's probably worth it. We can't flip this thing up anyway. So let's get busy. We've got a throttle that we're going to be able to play in a little bit anyway. And this is 8 damage, so guess, well, I don't love using Murderous Cut on a Leaping Master. If my opponent's stumbling on mana, I am going to put the pedal to the metal. I want to hit him as hard and as fast as possible. No blocks? All right, well, then you're dead. Okay. All right, so got a little break there. Our opponent stumbling, not on amount. They had 3, we had 4. It wasn't that. It was the white mana, I'm pretty sure was the hang up. I don't think we want to change anything. The Rakshasa Secret that he played helped us. It let us cast that Murderous Cut. Shambling Attendants is the only other card that I would consider here, just because we've seen at least, I mean, he's played Rakshasa Secret on us twice now in pretty short order. So maybe we bring in Attendants just, you know, if he's going to, maybe he's got multiples. Like, you can start to assume when you've seen it in two, you know, a medium-sized game and a short-sized game that is Rakshasa Secret, then maybe he's got multiples in the deck, in which case we'd like to be able to kind of work around it, because that 3/5 with Death Touch is insane against him. I mean, it's great. All right, this draw looks fine. There it is, Shambling Attendants. We'll see how it goes. I like this draw, though. It's fine. Fine and getting better. All right, no such luck this time. All 3 mana. Looks like we've only got 1 play to make. And I'm pretty sure this guy's going to get snapped off. Oh, he didn't. Well, that's nice. Bitter Revelation. Great. Which one's better? Flare, right? Flare's still, I think, a better attacker than Unyielding Krumar. I mean, the first strike can be handy, but I think 1 more toughness is probably just better. Mardu Rough Rider. All right, well, we've got tricks all around the building here, so we get to just attack with both anyway. If he blocks the flare, then we Dragon Scale Boon. And if he would have blocked the Grizzly, then we would have gone for Feat of Resistance. What the hell was that? Throttle main phase? Smart. In the meantime, take 5. And we'll play a Krumar. Yeah, it does look like that Shambling Attendance is going to do work here, though. If our opponent doesn't come up with something pretty quick, he's just going to be dead. If he taps out here, then we can pretty much just win. Venerable Lamasu, you say. So we just Feat of Resistance here and just kill him. Yeah, I don't really see any reason to do anything else. All right, we got there. Finals time.
Curious about the price of a Magic Online card? Try our searchable price guide on the right sidebar of any MTGOacademy.com page.
All right, finals. And yeah, we'd like to play first. That's a keep. Yeah, I think that's a keep. Any land gets us to Grizzly and Bondkin, and any not land gets us to Chief of the Scale and Feat of Resistance, so I think that's pretty decent, actually. We've been able to kind of, I mean, our deck isn't anything special, right? I think we can all recognize that. We've got 2 gold cards in the whole deck, including her morphs, which isn't normal. And we've just kind of got a bunch of creatures, a decent curve, and some pump spells. With some removal, it's kind of a more traditional deck, but it can do a lot of work. Interesting. Chief of Ye Old Scale. Yeah, that's interesting. Embodiment of Spring, you say. All right, well, let's attack. And I don't think I'm going to fire it off here for obvious reasons. But, sometimes people talk themselves out of blocking in spots like this sometimes. And I don't really see any downside of this play. Yeah, there we go. What's he going to get? Swamp, right. Okay. So first big decision point here. Grizzly or Tuskguard Captain? I think it's Grizzly here. Like, we don't have a second green source, so if I play Captain, I'm not going to be able to pump it up for the next turn anyway. Unless we get lucky and bank a forest or whatever. And this way I can maybe maximize Feat of Resistance or something. Oh, we must have injury for our Grizzly. Okay. All right, well, we got a little lucky here and hit a land, so we get to play. Yeah, a Flare. Pretty happy to see Singing Bell Strike on our Chief of the Scales. This is not really one of our more potent creatures anyway. Also, I think we can just use this to knock it off as well, right? Yeah, I can't be attached to it or whatever, so that'll work too. More good draws. I like this. Let's fight. You know what? Let's just get big. I was actually going to play Tuskguard Captain and then knock the Singing Bell Strike off, but this seems pretty good. I think I'd rather use my Feat of Resistance to tussle with this morph. Ooh. Big punchy, you say? I think I'd still rather just use feet here. So let's fight. We'll use Savage Punch on whatever he plays next. Which looks like this might be a Woolly Loxodon based on the fact that he didn't flip anything up here. But that's okay. Let's play Captain. Oh, he's got a cancel? All right, sure. I still want him to sink his mana into this morph. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Woolly Loxodon now. If that's the case, then the play is probably to force him to flip it up using Savage Punch here. And then we'll Feat of Resistance to save our Bondkin if he flips. And then we'll kill him, right? 6, 7, 8, 10, yeah. Hit him for 11 or whatever. Uh-huh. Oh. So if this resolves, so if I give it protection from green, then it counters this. That doesn't work how I wanted. I mean, this is still fine, I guess. Right? Because it's still targeting this thing. Nothing like having the right read and then forgetting an interaction here. This doesn't come up very often. So if I give it protection from green, then everything fizzles. But I don't think that actually helps me. So I think I just need to kind of take my medicine here, because these will trade off. And I'm not happy about that because I 2-for-1 myself. But, looking at it as well, I am pretty much forced to get that Woolly Loxodon out of the way one way or another. So that might have been the conclusion we came to anyway. Though, if the timing of the spells was more convenient, I would have been quite happy. But it probably isn't. So, like I said, I guess we just got to kind of take our medicine here. All right. I was going to do it on this guy, but this one's more important. Pro blue. Suppose I could wait on that. Treasure Cruise. All right. Well, we're going to hit you for half your life total here, and hope that this is a big enough threat to get in. Probably going to need to draw something too, because Treasure Cruise that's going to be really, really tough. We were basically at parity before the cruise. That's not too bad. Can definitely think of worse cards than Injury to draw there. All right. What have you? It's got to be multiple creatures or another removal spell, plus like a medium-sized creature. But we've put him in a spot. Both of our creatures are lethal. Did he play a land? He played an island, so he's not gaining a life. So that's pretty good for us too. Let's see what he gets. Rakshasa Vizier. And maybe a morph. All right, well, there are a few morphs that matter here. Let's see what happens, though. Dragon Scale Boon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that was a good draw. So I can go Debilitating Injury and then just boon this thing up and attack with both. I think that's the right play, right? Boon it pre-combat just for the cheaper untap and then just battle mode it. Seems good to me. That was a Mystic. All right. Yeah, that's a nice draw. All right, well, what have we seen? Definitely want Smite. We've seen 2 really good targets for it. I'm going to keep Take Up Arms. I have a feeling that this is somebody who might have like a dead drop or something along those lines, and I like having dead drop, protection, and it's a fine card anyway. We're just not really abusing Take Up Arms, but if I think my opponent has a dead drop, I'd rather have one. What else? Everything looks pretty good to me, actually. Maybe an Unyielding Krumar, just because it's not like the big puncher. Maybe an Awaken the Bear or a Boon. Let's try that. All right, all of our colors and 2 removal spells on the draw. Probably keeping. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, this is one of those borderline hands. Draw a bunch of creatures and we feel like a genius. Draw a bunch of lands and we just sort of waste away. All right, well, so far, I don't know. We're doing okay, I guess. We drew a creature. Curious to see if he cracks this. Oh, he does right away. Some people just leave those on the battlefield for a long time, but looks like our opponent has some plans. Okay, a dead morph. Seems fine. Oh, Monastery Flock. Well, this actually works out for us in a reasonable way just because the Unyielding Krumar we're going to play next turn can now attack through it where, he's going to get a little extra value being able to block once with it, but it's not the end of the world, really. Yeah, sure. He's going to cancel, but I'm not going to play around cancel. I'm just going to make him use it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If he just does nothing, I'm pretty happy with that result. Sure. Just going to feed a resistance this thing. Begin the beatdown. He's just going to cash that thing in right away. Okay. Well, at least we have a threat. Not another one. Another one. All right. Can accept this. The good news for us is that we don't have anything else to do anyway with our mana because we're flooding out pretty hard here. So, Mise, as they say. Now it has Vigilance. Looks like our opponent's flooding out a bit here too. Crippling Chilled that guy. All right. Our draws have been quite good here. Because now I can play this Heir of the Wilds and still have enough mana to untap my guy. And frankly, I wasn't going to make a token this turn anyway. I'd rather just keep beating down with this, and as long as it's pretty apparent that our opponent has nothing, because the first something that they have we can Murderous Cut. There's a Morph. He's got 5 mana. Throttle's not bad. Get the trigger on the Heir of the Wilds here too. I'm just going to let him flip up if he wants, and then I'll throttle it or Murderous Cut it as I see fit. But going for it pre-combat, it's a little aggressive. It was a Mystic. All right, go ahead. You got to have something here, right? Why would he chump block the Heir of the Wilds? He would chump block this, right? Nothing. Well, I'm thoroughly confused. But I don't care because we won. All right, so it looks like we got there. What's the lesson to be learned from this draft? Well, there's probably a couple. I guess the main one being that your deck doesn't have to be flashy to win. I like flashy decks. I'd rather play those that are sometimes more fun. But, I think that decks like this, people underrate how often a deck like this can actually get there. You give yourself a puncher's chance in any draft by drafting these. They don't always win. This isn't the best archetype you can have or something amazing. But, like, the times when you just have a solid creature curve, decent removal, and some combat tricks, it will actually carry you over a lot of things. And I think this draft was a good illustration of that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out this week. If you want to find me for any feedback or comments or just to say hi, Twitter is the place to do it, Marshall_LR. And of course, for all things limited resources, you can find them at lrcast.com. Thanks, guys. See you next week.